When I first started photography, I have all these assumptions about what matter most. But now, looking back, I realize most of them are just wrong. Throughout the years, my experience has completely changed the way I approach photo shoot, gear, and creativity. So today I'm going to share with you guys 5 biggest shifts that happened to me and also helped me to become a better photographer. And let's see if any of them happen to you too. The first one, less gear equal to more creativity. When I used to do photo shoot, I used to carry like 3-4 lenses because I believe more lenses can give me more coverage and can give me more variety and better result. But actually, that's not the case. Now, when I do photo shoot, most of the time I'm only carrying one lens. Here's the reason. So when you have less option or when you have only one option, you start thinking what you can do with what you have. Start thinking, you're not thinking about options anymore. You're thinking about possibilities that really help you to open up your creativity. That's other than the creativity, it also helps you to truly understand the character lens. This is a very good way to learn something. And you might think about, okay, if I'm doing that, isn't that means I will miss opportunity because maybe there's certain situation I can use a different lens to cover that. That is true, but actually in the real world, it doesn't work like that way. When you're carrying multiple lenses, when you're out there doing the photo shoot, it will cost you a lot more time. I'm not talking about the time that actually change the lens. That's minimal time. Switching the lens won't take you too much time. I'm talking about the time of actually using it. What I mean by that is like photo shoots kind of like exercise or singing or drawing. Like before you actually get into it, you need time to warm up. Same as a photo shoot. Like probably the first 5-10 minutes, all the shots just look boring. You kind of look lost. But after that, ideas start flowing in. You start really get a feeling of the lens. It almost feel part of your body, and the shots just getting better and better. But just imagine in the middle of this, you decided to change your lens from 50mm lens to 21mm lens. You put it on, and then you look through a viewfinder, and you'll be like, "Oh, whoa, what is this?" So what you're gonna do is like, because you reset everything, you had to do your warm up again to get used to this new focal lens, new way of thinking and seeing. This is gonna take you a lot of time. And many times, even you're out there doing a photo shoot, it's just not practical. Of course, like you think this is actually taking a risk. There's a risk there. Like maybe you know what, you're not grabbing the right lens. But this is the thing. So when you're doing the photo shoot long enough, you're pretty good at like, predicting what lens can do what to you. You get a better feel about that. And then, of course, not all the lenses may equal. Certain lenses will work better than the other. For me, the focal lens I prefer is between 28mm to 50mm. It's like a 28, 35, and 50. 35 and 50 will be much easier to do. 28 is a little bit challenging, but with some practice, you can still do it. Why I say that is because when you go in there and do the photo shoot, the whole reason you grab multiple lenses is you want to capture variety. But what exactly the variety? Variety for me is 3 different types of shoots. It's kind of like when they film a movie. You need an establishing shot, which is like wider shot, and basically tell when, where, and what. And then you need a medium shot, which is showing your main subject, your hero. And then you need a detail shot to capture the expression, the texture, or any details that help to bring life to your story. With a 28 to 50mm lens, you can do all 3 shots without too much challenge. But once you move out of this range, things become interesting. Like for example, 85mm is a very common focal lens. Many portrait photographers love using 85mm. They're great for like detail shot or separate your subject from the background for the medium shot. But to use to create like a wide shot, like an establishing shot, you just need a lot of working space. And many times it's just not practical. Like for indoor photo shoot is almost impossible. They look at the other way, the super wide angle. I love wide angle lenses. They are great for being creative with like composition, and they add a lot of depth to it. And then you don't have to stop down too much to have enough depth of field, so you can have a lot of things in detail. I love that. But the thing is, when you use these super angle lens to do detail shot, like the level distortion might be just too much. Like that for me is kind of like a 50-50. I think half the people like that look, the other half they just hate it. Okay, that's the first one. Now let's talk about the second one. Perfection versus imperfection. I think all the photographers start like this way. Like we chase perfection. We want the photo razor sharp. And we have zero tolerance in terms of a clipped highlight or shadows. And a lens flare is a big no-no. And then when we purchase a lens, we want something with like almost zero distortion, no vignetting, things like that. But now the way I look at this, like it completely changed. I found that like a little bit softness to the image just makes things look more natural, more organic, especially for portrait. And I like the dark shadow because it helps me to build the mood. A little bit like image green actually just make the image better, like more organic, more raw, more real. And then vignetting is definitely not a bug, it's a feature. Here's the thing, like if you always chase these perfection, like it kind of like restrict yourself in the being creative because okay, I need to worry about this, I need to worry about that. Like why worry about all these things? Just capture the things that you think that will be the best way to tell your story, to present to your audience. Beginner photographer treat these just as imperfections, but experienced photographers use them in a unique way to help them build a story, to help them to build their own style, to help them to make the photo look unique and full of character. Next one, the quantity vs quality. I think in this, like everybody understands, the quality always better than the quantity. But when we first started, I think we all tend to make this mistake. Like this is the case for me. Like when I first started, like I go to do a photo shoot, I find the background, I find my perfect angle, I set up a lighting, and then I just stand at the same spot taking like 50 or 100 photos. I don't know exactly why I do that back then, but now I think about it, I'm just, every time I take a photo, I think, oh, maybe this time I can make it even slightly better or something, trying to get the best shot out of that particular angle. Actually, there's nothing wrong with it. But the thing is, at the end, then when you go back home, you look at the photo, it's just like so lack of variety. The thing is supposed to be, it should be the opposite. Like you take less photo, but with a lot more variety. When you go in there doing the photo shoot, don't take your photos based on each frame, like, or just another shot. Taking photo in a way, think about you creating a storyboard. You're using a series of photo to build a photo book. If you think it that way, you would definitely get better. The other thing I want to mention about this quality versus the quantity is like the new photographer, they tend to shoot very fast. Like they see something interesting, quickly grab the camera, take a photo. If you're doing that, you're not doing photography. You're basically just taking a photo. 90% of photography should happen in your head, and then the other 10% just like the camera setting, it just like to make it happen, right? So you will find out actually when you're slowed down, when you spend more time to observe what happens around you, you have more ideas like what you can do with what's around you. That will separate yourself from the other photographer because the way you're thinking will be very unique to you, and then that will reflect on your photo. That's exactly how you will build your style. So if you want to get better, the easiest way is slow down. Like if you follow my channel long enough, you can see like most of the time, like I use a manual lens, like I shoot very slow, and that's for exactly the reason. And I do mainly portrait and street photography. Of course, there's certain type of photo shoot you definitely need autofocusing lens. For example, if you're shooting events, you're doing like sports or shooting flying birds, and then you're definitely gonna need autofocusing lens. But that doesn't change the fact you need to observe more, think more before you're taking the photo. Talking about like less is more, and then the megapixel is also the other thing that I want to talk about, because when we first started, like we seems always want to get the maximum of megapixel counts and that our wallet can afford. But now, like I still have the camera have 47. Well, they're not the largest sensor anymore. There's someone can shoot like 100 megapixels or even higher. I have some ones like a 47 megapixel camera, but now I mainly use it with camera that only 24 megapixels. There are so many benefits, like smaller file size, better low light performance, and much cheaper. And then this topic can completely go into a separate video. I don't want to go too deep into that. But I can tell you, like, you're totally fine with 24 megapixel. The next one is chasing locations versus get good shot anywhere. I used to believe like to make a good photo, you need to be at those epic locations, and then like it seems like we all need to spend $1,000 on travel, flying there and taking photos. But what you end up gonna get is just exactly the same photo that hundreds of photographers already taken. And you might wonder, what's the point? Actually, photography is not about being at the right place, being at the best place, taking photos. It's about like, you know, the moment, the lighting, everything. But the best moment, the best lighting can happen anywhere. Like it doesn't have to be some fancy place. If you spend more time to observe what's around you, you can definitely see that. Sometimes things might not perfect, and this doesn't matter if your overloads like good locations or just like a random place. This apply to both type of locations equally. So you might have something, maybe something's lacking, like maybe like what you see is not exactly what you're trying to create, or maybe the lighting is not perfect, but you can totally fix it by either use editing or use artificial lighting. The last one, rules versus breaking the rules. When we first started learning photography, we read books, we watch tutorials, we join workshops, and then like sooner or later you're gonna hear these rules. Like for example, rule of third, keep your horizon level, or you know, avoid harsh shadow, you know, things like that. These rules they're good for get you started because they kind of like build a structure and can help you to improve faster. But once you pass this stage, you need to learn how to break these rules because these rules can also become limitations. Sometimes you might want to, you know, tilt the camera at an angle on purpose so you can build drama. Sometimes you might want to add a lot of darkness to the shadows so you can build the right mood. And sometimes you want to push your main subject all the way to the edge of the photo to build tension. Use these things creatively so then you can have your unique shot. What I'm trying to tell you is like, you need to break these rules with purpose. The beginner photographer treat them as mistake, but the experienced photographers use them to create style and build a strong story. Okay, so that's the 5 shifts that happened to me in my photography. I wonder how many of them happened to you as well. And again, thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.